Mike. You were my waistline.
I just want to trust you. I didn't know it the time before.
I think we're ready to go, Larry.
I'm not about to huddle. I'm talking about when we start that stuff.
The hour of convening having arrived, all members of the House will please come to the floor and take seats. All members will please come to the floor and take seats. The clerk will ring the bell. All members will please come to the floor. We're going to do the morning roll call here soon. We're going to have the call of the roll. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. Doorkeepers will please close the doors and keep them closed. Good morning. We will have scripture reading and prayer by the chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. I have the great privilege of introducing our chaplain this morning, a dear longtime friend of mine. Today's CASA Day here at the Capitol, and he is one of the more active CASA volunteers up in North Georgia. Our chaplain of the day today is the Reverend Jim Bradley. Jim and his wife Sylvia moved to LJ in 1995 after he had a career serving our country in the military. They have 3 children, 5 grandchildren, and even though he doesn't look old enough, 2 great-grandchildren. And they're active members of the First Baptist Church of LJ, and he brought his pastor with him today. I think he's going to grade his performance, and I'm really pleased to have Dr. David Drake with us, and thank you for being here. Reverend Bradley holds a master's degree in religion, and he's also the assistant funeral director at the Logan Funeral Home in LJ, and is the chaplain captain of Georgia 507th, the LJ Composite Squadron. But I'm just pleased to say that Jim Bradley is a dear friend of mine, and I'm pleased he's here, and we're honored to have you lead us in the devotion. Reverend Bradley.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. There are passages that relate to servant leadership in the Tao Te Ching, which is attributed to Lao Tzu, who is believed to have lived in China sometime between 570 BCE, that's before the Christian era, and 490 BCE. And I quote, "The highest type of ruler is one whose existence the people are barely aware. Next comes one whom they love and praise. Next comes one whom they fear. Next comes one whom they despise and defy. And when you're lacking in faith, others will be unfaithful to you. The sage is self-effacing and scanty with words, and what his task is accomplished and things have been completed, all the people say, we ourselves have achieved it. I've been asked to share with you some short, brief remarks and insights pertaining to the beginning of a new day and to remind each of us of the awesome responsibilities we all have and that have been entrusted to us by God and those whom we represent. May we be blessed with His presence this morning, His power, His grace, as we begin this day's task set before us. Larry Spears identified 10 characteristics of servant leaders in the writings of Robert K. Greenleaf. The 10 characteristics are listening, empathy, healing, awareness, persuasion, conceptualization, foresight, stewardship, and commitment of growth to others. Last but not least, building community. Servant leaders continually strive to be trustworthy, self-aware, humble, caring, visionary, empowering, relational, competent, good stewards, and community builders. And these are the characteristics which we are attempting to instill in the young people we're working with in the Civil Air Patrol. And the terminology may be different, but I believe that's what court-appointed special advocates desire for the children of this state, and should not also be the desire of we, the people. Or have we forgotten what our purpose in life is supposed to be? Unlike leadership approaches with a top-down hierarchical style, servant leadership instead emphasizes collaboration, trust, empathy, and the ethics of power. The individual is a servant first, making the conscious decision to lead in order to better serve others, not to increase their own power. There are core values which the Civil Air Patrol is constantly fine-tuning as we continue to pursue our purpose and our mission, all of which are incorporated into professional development programs for both senior members and cadets. These core values are integrity, volunteer service, excellence, and respect. Integrity is the very fiber of all core values. Without it, all other core values cannot prevail. It's the cornerstone for all that is moral and just in our society. Volunteer service adopted this core value because it reflects the very essence of the organization, service to humanity. All CAP volunteers willingly give of their time, their energy, their personal resources. Excellence, that core value reflects Civil Air Patrol's continuous effort to be the very best and to be consistently improving in its humanitarian service to America. From personal appearance to resource management, excellence is the goal of all its members. And then last but not least by any means, respect. CAP members come from all walks of life, just as in this house here today. And to consistently find extremely important that members treat each other with fairness and dignity and learn to work together as a team, for to do otherwise seriously impairs the capability to accomplish the missions successfully. These core values outlined above serve as a foundation for all that we do, for how we treat one another, how the recipients of our humanitarian service are treated, how we care for the corporate assets as well as personal assets under our control, and which also applies to any other organization, down to and including the family unit. If one member fails to uphold these values, then in a way the entire unit suffers. And this applies all the way to the highest levels of government, to the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. It includes all of the way up, all of the departments of these three major branches, and most assuredly pertains to the churches of America, not buildings, monuments, or the statuary, but we the people. Consider a following example. When pre-flighting an aircraft, the pilot notices what appears to be a minor damage to the leading edge of the wing. It seems like a small, insignificant problem at the moment, so he disregards it and he flies a cadet orientation flight. After landing, he notices the damaged area has become severely degraded. Now, which of CAP's core values did the pilot violate? All were violated. Integrity was compromised, self was placed before service, excellence was ignored, and there was no respect demonstrated for the well-being and safety of the cadet passengers. Every occupation, whatever it may be, is susceptible to that kind of breakdown. This House of Representatives is no different. In fact, because of its very nature, it becomes even more vulnerable than almost any other entity. Today, we'll be recognizing the court-appointed special advocates and their accomplishments, along with the support of a multitude of other people today on the 25th anniversary. And these values of integrity, of excellence, of volunteer service, and respect are principally found and inherently within the CASA program, though they may have different wording. An organization of volunteers seeking the very best for our children of Georgia, supporting healthy family environments which include integrity of their parents, helping one another, achieving their very best, and respecting one another. I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker, and your staff and all the representatives here in this House this morning for the great state of Georgia. And a special thanks to Diane Scoggins, who, for the compassion that she has for children, got me involved with CASA over 10 years ago. For the opportunity to share some thoughts, I wanted to take this time to share a little bit about where we are, how we can get to where we need to be, and all under the protection and watch care of our Creator. Join me as we pray this morning. Pray for the new day that has been given to us and for the tasks before us. Heavenly Father, we thank you for a new day, a new beginning. May we be obedient to your word and be willing to confront the opportunities that are before us with integrity, willing to do what is right by your standards, be desirous of the excellence that pleases you and the respect for one another that you have demonstrated to us all. We ask this in the precious name of Jesus, my Lord and my Savior. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Doorkeepers will unlock the doors.
Basically go back the way we were, but have lobbyists have to get a re-cleared to get our ethics committee all out of this process. Got to take care of it.
Chair recognizes Chairman Barbara Sims of the Committee on Information and Audits.
Your Committee on Information and Audits has read the proceedings of the previous legislative day and found it to be correct.
Chairman Sims, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? The chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. The clerk will read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day.
Mr. O'Neill, the 146, move the following be established as the order of business during the first part of the period of unanimous consent. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading reference to bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Reports to standing committees. Morning orders. Privilege resolutions. Through the resolution establishing order of business for the day.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 196 by Representative Bryant of the 162nd. A bill to be entitled Act Amendment Title 32 relating to general provisions regarding maintenance of public roads.
Transportation.
House Bill 197, Representative Powell, the 171st. A bill to be entitled Act Amendment Title 48 relating to ad valorem taxation of property.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 198, Representative Smith, 134th. A bill to be entitled Act Amendment Title 33 relating to insurance.
Insurance.
House Bill 199 by Representative Lindsay, the 54th. Bill to be entitled Act Amendment Title 50 relating to Water Supply Division, Environmental Finance Authority.
Natural Resources and Environment.
House Bill 200 by Representative Stevens, 164th. Bill to be entitled Act relating to exemption, sales and use tax.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 201 by Representative Taylor, the 173rd. Bill be entitled Act create the Grady County Lake Authority.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
House Bill 202 by Representative Epps, 144th. Bill to be entitled Act Amendment Title 32 relating to highways.
Transportation.
House Bill 203 by Representative Hamilton, 24th. Bill to be entitled Act Amendment Title 44 relating to protection of American Indian remains and objects.
Governmental Affairs.
House Resolution 174 by Representative Gordon, 163rd. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on Atlanta-Savannah High-Speed Rail.
Transportation.
Through the first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
HB 39 by Representative Dickerson of the 113th, a bill relating to offenses against public order. HB 180 by Representative Talton of the 147th, a bill relating to prestige license plates and special license plates for certain persons and vehicles. HB 181 by Representative Cook of the 18th, a bill relating to financial institutions. HB 182 by Representative Weldon of the 3rd, a bill relating to juvenile court administration. HB 183 by Representative Jaspers of the 11th, a bill relating to verification of new employee eligibility, applicability, and rules and regulations. HB 184 by Representative Costas of the 107th, a bill relating to applications to operate or conduct post-secondary activities under the Non-Public Post-Secondary Educational Institutions Act of 1990. HB 185 by Representative Kidd of the 145th, a bill relating to tastings. HB 186 by Representative Stevens of the 164th, a bill relating to imposition, computation, and exemptions from state income tax. HB 187 by Representative Dickerson of the 113th, a bill relating to manufacturing, distributing, dispensing, or possessing with intent to distribute controlled substances or marijuana in, on, or within drug-free commercial zones. HB 188 by Representative Coomer of the 14th, a bill relating to professions and businesses. HB 189 by Representative Buckner of the 137th, a bill relating to parks, historic areas, memorials, and recreation. HB 190 by Representative Stevens of the 164th, a bill relating to general provisions regarding state sales and use tax. HB 191 by Representative Stevens of the 164th, a bill relating to exemptions from sales and use tax. HB 192 by Representative Kidd of the 145th, a bill relating to definitions regarding podiatry practice. HB 193 by Representative Stevens of the 164th, a bill relating to exemptions from sales and use tax. HB 194 by Representative Powell of the 171st, a bill relating to general provisions regarding public utilities and public transportation. HB 195 by Representative Setzler of the 35th, a bill relating to the special district transportation sales and use tax. HR 4 by Representative Geisinger of the 48th, A resolution proposing a settlement to the boundary dispute between the state of Georgia and the state of Tennessee, H.R. 160, by Representative Casas of the 107th. A resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution so as to provide that up to 75% of sales taxes for educational purposes may be used for maintenance and operation expenses of a school system, H.R. 161, by Representative Taylor of the 173rd. Resolution honoring the life of Trooper Roy Cecil Massey and dedicating a road in his memory, H.R. 162, by Representative Thomas of the 100th. Resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution so as to provide that the ballot language shall be provided by the Attorney General through second readers.
Reports of standing committees. The clerk will read.
Representative Harden, 148, Chairman Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs had in consideration following bill. The House Truck report, same back to the House. Following recommendation, House Bill 101 do pass. Suspect submitted. Representative Harden, Vice Chair, through the committee reports.
We're about to go to morning orders. If you have signed up for a morning order, make your way to the front of the chamber. We're going to take up morning orders.
We're meeting this afternoon, right, sir?
House will be in order. If you have a morning order, make your way to the front of the chamber. Chair is going to ask that morning orders be limited to 2 minutes each. Chair recognizes for a morning order Coach Williams for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, members. Today I have in the gallery a group of retirees from Hidden Hills subdivision. They are to the right, the largest subdivision in DeKalb County. Many of them are retired teachers, lawyers, air traffic controllers, nurses, and many other professions. Today they do a little bit of motorcycle riding, snowboarding, golf, and skydiving. They're right here on my right, some of you left. Would you stand up, please, and let's be recognized. Thank you for coming down to your house. And Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Chair recognizes for a morning order Representative Flood and Representative Dickerson.
Is it on? Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning to everyone. Phyllis Wheatley was a pioneer of African American literature. Ms. Wheatley was not only the first African American poet, but was the first African American woman to successfully publish a book and the first to sustain a living from her writings. Wheatley's accomplishments were no easy merit. At an early age, she was kidnapped from Africa and placed on a ship to be sold into slavery. Her owners, George and Susanna Wheatley, were progressives, and they nurtured the budding writer's talents with biblical, Greek, and Latin classics. As early as 14, her poems appeared in numerous periodicals and newspapers. In 1773, Phyllis Wheatley published her first book. Her accomplishments garnered praise across the globe. Leading figures from George Washington to renowned philosopher and writer Francois Voltaire praised Wheatley's literary work. Voltaire was noted as saying, "Wheatley's works have disproved the false claims that blacks are unable to write." Because of her accomplishments in the face of great adversities, Phyllis Wheatley has been listed among the 100 greatest African Americans and inspired countless of young aspiring writers.
The commitment to freedom and love of country have been a hallmark of African Americans since the Civil War. News from Fort Sumter set off a rush of free black men to enlist in military units, but they were turned away because of a federal law dating back to 1792 that barred blacks from bearing arms in the U.S. Army, even though they had served in the American Revolution and in the War of 1812. The Lincoln administration wrestled with the idea of authorizing black troops, but were quite concerned about whether or not border states would begin to secede. By mid-1862, however, the declining number of white volunteers, the escalating number of former slaves, and the increasing pressure on personnel needs for the Union Army pushed the government into reconsidering the ban. So on July 17, 1862, Congress passed the Second Confiscation and Military Act, freeing slaves to join the Union Army. Volunteers from South Carolina, Tennessee, Massachusetts filled the first authorized black regiments. In 1863, the government established the Bureau of Colored Troops to manage the burgeoning number of black soldiers. By the end of the Civil War, roughly 170,000 black men, 10% of the Union Army, served as soldiers in the U.S. Army, and another 19,000 served in the Navy. Nearly 40,000 black soldiers died over the course of the war. Black soldiers served in artillery and infantry and performed a number of duties, including chaplains, carpenters, cooks, guards, nurses, scouts, spies, and surgeons. Because of the prejudice against them, black units were not used in combat extensively. Nevertheless, the soldiers served with distinction in a number of battles. But in July 1863, in the assault on Fort Wagner, the 54th Regiment of Massachusetts lost 2/3 of their officers and half of their troops, and they were memorialized in the movie called Glory. By the war's end, 16 black soldiers had been awarded the Medal of Honor for their valor and for their courage. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Jaspers for a morning order. Representative Jaspers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning. If you were here early this morning over on the west side, you noticed a large group of young people and parents who were here. And today is Equine Day. And if you don't know what equine are, horses, and it's a great large industry in our state. It's in every one of our counties, and we have 4-H'ers and FFA members and homeschool people who are very much involved in showing and raising horses. And they're here today to be recognized. Let's take a minute. If y'all up in the gallery, if you're an equine person, please stand. Let's give you a hand and recognize you today.
House will be in order. We're going to honor some distinguished visitors and guests we have with us today. Clerk will read the caption to an invite resolution.
House Resolution 70 by Representative Ralston, 7. A resolution recognizing court-appointed special advocates, CASA, in Georgia for 25 years of dedicated service and inviting court-appointed special advocates to be recognized by the House of Representatives at a date and time to be fixed by the Speaker of this House.
Many of you know, today is CASA Day here at the Capitol. CASAs are court-appointed special advocates, trained volunteers who serve as the eyes and ears and advocates for our children in our court system. This year, the CASA program is celebrating 25 years of service in Georgia. I have had a firsthand opportunity of observing this outstanding program work. I tell people I'm kind of blessed because in my area I think we have one of the greatest CASA programs in Georgia, and we have a number of special CASA guests that are on the podium with me this morning, including the Program Operations Director for Georgia CASA, Jen King, who I'll introduce in a moment. We have, I think, some volunteers, CASA volunteers in the gallery. If you are a CASA volunteer in the gallery, please stand so we can thank you for what you do for our state. Thank you very much. And I am honored now to introduce Jen King, the Program Operations Director for Georgia CASA. Ms. King.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also have with me here today Angela Tyner, Diane Scoggins, Deidre Hollins, Brad Ray, Julia Neighbors, Bernadette Hartfield, and Jim Bradley. On behalf of the hundreds of volunteers we have here today and the thousands more across the state, we thank you for your continued commitment to CASA volunteer advocacy on behalf of abused and neglected children in juvenile courts across the state. Without your 25 years of support, both here at the Capitol and back at home, we wouldn't be as strong of a network as we are, and we hope that you'll join us today for lunch. Thank you.
The chair, we had one other morning order that kind of escaped notice, and our chair is going to recognize at this time the chairman of the Public Safety and Homeland Security Committee, Chairman Powell, for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and ladies and gentlemen of the House. Today is Firefighters Recognition Day at the Capitol. They're downstairs, and they'll be down there till about 11:30. And as you're walking around the halls, you're going to see a lot of the firefighters that are up here at the Capitol today. There's 30,000 of these professionals that represent 900 departments around the state. And I will tell you that these are the other leg of that stool of public safety. And I would encourage you, when you see them, shake their hand and thank them for what they do. And if you get a chance, step down to say hello to them. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the dean of this body, Chairman Calvin Smyrie, for an invite resolution. Chairman Smyrie.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker and ladies and gentlemen of the House. As chairman of the Columbus delegation, along with Representative Carolyn Hughley, the minority whip, Chairman Richard Smith, Representative Debbie Buckner, and Representative John Pizard. It's a pleasure for me to welcome the folk from Columbus, Georgia here on Columbus Region Day. And I'm happy we're joined at the podium by our mayor, Teresa Tomlinson, our city manager, Isaiah Hughley, the husband of Carolyn Hughley, as well as the president of the chamber, Mike Gaiman, and the board chairman, Jackie Lowe, and Staff Sergeant Brandon Shannon. Will y'all give them a round of applause, please? I would ask the clerk to please read the resolution.
House Resolution 163 by Representative Smyrie, 135th, and many others. A resolution recognizing February 5th, 2013 as Columbus Day at State Capitol, inviting Mayor Teresa Tomlinson, City Manager Isaiah Hughley, Chamber President and CEO Mike Gaiman, and Chamber Board Chairman Jackie Lowe to be recognized by this House of Representatives at a date and time to be designated by the Speaker of this House.
Mr. Speaker and members of the House, it's a pleasure for me to introduce our Mayor of Columbus. We're delighted that you all have allowed us this opportunity to come. Columbus is a vibrant city south of here, and we're delighted to have them here with us as our visitors. So please welcome the Mayor of the great city of Columbus, Georgia, Mayor Teresa Tomlinson.
Thank you, Representative Smyrie. Mr. Speaker and the esteemed members of this chamber, thank you so very much for having us here this morning. It is a great honor, indeed a privilege, to be here on the occasion of Columbus, Georgia Day at our state capitol. We are joined here, as Calvin said, with various representatives of our community. We bring formal greetings on behalf of 190,000 citizens. Columbus, Georgia is home to the Fort Benning Maneuver Center of Excellence, one of the largest military bases in the world. We are home to AFLAC International Headquarters. We are home to Columbus State University, Columbus Technical College. We are the birthplace of Coca-Cola, and we are now home to the longest whitewater urban course in the world. And so I invite each of you to come to Columbus, Georgia, and join me in a raft down 2.2 miles of Class 3, Class 4 rapids. We will supply the helmet and the life jacket, but you are each provided. And truly, we are so grateful to have what in the eyes of the Columbus, Georgia citizens is the greatest legislative delegation ever fielded. We really are truly honored to have their service, and we thank you. We are so very grateful for your service on behalf of all cities and all citizens of the state of Georgia. Oh, we have a special presentation. We have one special presentation we would like to make to the Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to call forward Staff Sergeant Shannon of Fort Benning, who's going to present you with a challenge coin. And a challenge coin is patterned and inspired after General Patton to encourage us and remind us to be the best region possible. So here, Sergeant Shannon.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Columbus Chamber of Commerce, I present you this coin.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Right.
That is quite a distinguished honor. We got thousands of them.
House will continue to be in order. Going to ask members to remain in their seats. Let's clear the aisles out. We've got a little bit of noise and some traffic. We have another very distinguished group of guests with us. Chair recognizes for an invite resolution Representative Ben Harbin. Representative Harbin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, everyone. Today is a special day. We have a resolution honoring the Medical College of Georgia. And if we could, I would like to ask the clerk to please read the resolution.
House Resolution 110 by Representative Harbin, 122nd, and many others. A resolution recognizing the Medical College of Georgia at Georgia Regents University's 185th anniversary, inviting students to be recognized by the House. Members of this body recognize and commend the Medical College of Georgia at Georgia Regents University, its faculty, students, staff, residents, alumni, and friends for their many years of dedicated service to the health needs of Georgia citizens, and invite the group to be recognized at this House upon a date and time to be designated by the Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. You know, it is a great honor on behalf of the Columbia and Richmond County and all of the Augusta area delegations to be here and honor this great institution. Medical College of Georgia is 185 years old. It was established in 1828 as one of the oldest medical schools in this country. It is the state's only public medical school. So it is something that we all invest in every year, and it's something that we all have a partnership with. 1 in 5 Georgia physicians went to the medical school or did their residency at the Medical College of Georgia. More than half of MCG's graduates practice in this state. About 95% of MCG students are Georgia residents. Medical College of Georgia covers the state with a distributed model and medical education that has students learning in about 135 sites across Georgia. Education is anchored by regional clinical campuses for 3rd and 4th year students, as well as a second 4-year campus in Athens in partnership with the University of Georgia. Medical College of Georgia is truly Georgia's university. And I'm proud today for us to honor them and for us to recognize them for what they've done and what they'll continue to do. And as you've noticed in this year's budget, the governor has asked us to make another significant budget request. And we thank Chairman England and everyone with appropriations for agreeing to that early. That's a joke. You're right, Mr. Speaker, they don't listen. But I do thank y'all for all the support you've given to this, because it is located in Augusta. And it is something we are very proud of. But it is truly, as we've seen over the past several years, it is truly Georgia's medical university. We have here with us today Dr. Peter Buckley, who is the Dean and Professor of Psychiatry at the Medical College of Georgia. Dr. Joseph Hobbs, the Chair of the Medical College of Georgia Department of Family Medicine and a Medical College of Georgia graduate. Ronnie Ziden, President, Class of 2013. Amy Martin, who's Class of 2014. And Lael Reinstatler, who's President of the Class of 2015. And she is at the Medical College campus in partnership in Athens. So as you see, we have a good broad spectrum here. But as well, I would like for you to stand before I ask Dr. Buckley to come say a few words. We have in the gallery, we have students and faculty from the Medical College of Georgia who are here today to thank you for what we've done and for us to honor them. Thank you. If you would please stand for a few moments. I'm going to introduce Dr. Buckley, who will come by. He is, as I said, the dean. He is the dean of Medical College of Georgia. He's a good man. He was Representative Hatchett. I did notice that he got his degree, his medical degree, at the University College of Dublin School of Medicine, but I went and checked, and that's the one in Ireland. But I do want to thank him for being here, Dr. Buckley. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you so much for the opportunity for all of us to be here and learn about your good work. We really appreciate this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, Republican Harbin, and also thank the entire Augusta delegate. We feel very fortunate to have our colleagues on behalf of our state, on behalf of our region, and we feel also very fortunate to have all of you. And we appreciate your support. We are your medical school. This is the Medical College of Georgia, the single public medical school for Georgia, and it is our duty and indeed our pleasure to train the best doctors for the health of Georgians, and also to discover and prevent illnesses and give the best care that we can to improve the health of Georgians. And so, as much as we recognize and respect your good work on behalf of Georgians. We feel very privileged that you support us in doing our work that we have been doing to the best of our ability for 185 years. And as much as we feel grateful that you've invited us and welcomed us to your chambers, each and every one of you are welcome to our chambers anytime. Thank you very much.
Well, y'all got it. We're pretty doing okay. Good to see you.
Clerk will read the caption to a group of privilege resolutions. The clerk will read.
These first resolutions are invitation resolutions. They're being read for the first time today and being referred to the Committee on Rules. A resolution from Representative Rice, the 95th, congratulating the Norcross Blue Devils football team winning the 2012 Class 6A state championship, inviting them to be recognized by the House. Resolution from Representative Flood, 64th, commending Sandy Creek High School football team, 2012 GHSA Class 4A state championship, inviting them to be recognized by the House of Representatives. Resolution from Representative Smyrie, 135th, recognizing February 12th, 2013 as the 5th annual Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated Day at the Capitol, inviting the brothers and thereby the fraternity to be recognized by the House of Representatives. Resolution by Representative Coomer, the 14th, honoring Dr. Kellen Keith Jeffers, inviting him to be recognized by the House of Representatives. Resolution by Representative Chiokas, the 138th, recognizing February 7th, 2013, Turkish American Day at the Capitol, commending the contributions of the Istanbul Center, Turkish Americans to the state of Georgia, inviting them to be recognized by the House of Representatives. As aforesaid, these invitation resolutions were read the first time today and are being referred to the Committee on Rules. Following resolutions are privilege resolutions being read for the first time today for adoption. Resolution from Representative Chiokas, 138th, recognizing and commending Ms. Sherry J. Nance. Resolution from Representative Beasley Teague, 65th, honoring the life and legacy of Ms. Rosa Parks on the occasion of her 100th birthday. Resolution from Representative Carter, the 175th, recognizing February as Career Technical Education Month. February 12th, 2013 is Georgia Career and Technical Student Organizations Day at the State Capitol. Resolution from Representative Kirby, the 114th, recognizing and congratulating the Loganville Christian Academy varsity football team winning the 2012 ICSGA State Football Championship. Resolution from Representative Kirby, the 114th, recognizing and congratulating the Loganville Christian Academy varsity competition cheerleading team winning the 2012 ICSGA State Competition Cheerleading Championship. Resolution from Representative Flood, 64th, commending and recognizing Christian D. Taylor for his outstanding accomplishments. And a resolution from Representative Hughley of the 136th, congratulating Greater Shady Grove Baptist Church on the occasion of its 150th anniversary through the privilege resolutions.
Y'all think
Is there any objection to the adoption of the privilege resolutions? The chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. If you have... Chair recognizes Representative Harbin to introduce the Doctor of the Day. Representative Harbin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning again. It's Augusta Day, or Columbia County Day, or Augusta Area Day. But today we have our Doctor of the Day, a good friend, someone who I got to know a few years ago, Dr. Bruce LeClaire. Dr. LeClaire is wise in his choice of political districts. He lives in the 122nd. But Dr. LeClaire is the Associate Professor of the Department of Family Medicine at Medical College of Georgia and Georgia Regents University. He earned his medical degree from the University of California at Davis and his master's degree from the University of Wisconsin. He conducted his family medicine residency training in the Army at Fort Ord, California, and on a road to Damascus moment, he realized heaven was somewhere near Augusta. So Dr. LeClaire has been at the Medical College of Georgia for 18 years. Dr. LeClaire is Director of Family Medicine Inpatient Service and Departmental Quality Assurance Co-Coordinator. He is the past President and Chairman of the Board of Directors at the Georgia Academy of Family Physicians and is currently Co-Chair of the Legislative Committee. He was selected as the Georgia Association of Family Physicians 2009 Georgia Family Physician of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you our Doctor of the Day, Dr. Bruce LeClaire.
Well, I didn't get a chance to write anything down, so I just thought of a few things on that 3-hour trip up here from Augusta to mention. First of all, I'd like, I'm here for a day, and thankfully my boss gave me the day off to come here. You all are here for 40 days, and I know that there's a lot more than 40 days that go into that. So I thank you very much for your service and what you do. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that we have faculty, medical students, and administrators from the Medical College of Georgia here to talk to you and take that opportunity to thank you for all that you do in support of medical education for medical students and residency training. I know it's fashionable to talk about all the bad things in our system and in our healthcare system, but we need to take a minute to reflect on all of the good things that you all do for the people of Georgia, and I want to thank you. I've been listening to some lectures on a man by the name of Voltaire, and as you know, Voltaire lived in the mid-1700s. At that time, France was pretty much the center of all medical knowledge and expertise, and everybody went to France to learn how to do medicine. So Voltaire had, of course, some ideas about French medicine, and he tells the story of a French man who became ill, and they consulted all of the medical knowledge and all of the important people in medicine, and they came and gave their opinions and gave their administrations, medical administrations, and despite all of that, he survived. So lest we get too full of ourselves, we need to remind ourselves to be humble and remember that we are just human beings. I thank you again for all that you do, and oh, by the way, if there's anything that I can do to help you, we're down in room 232 at the medical aid station. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you very much. If you have signed up for an announcement, Chair would ask that you make your way to the front of the chamber. We're going to be doing announcements.
Who got white hair that can stand up there and look like a meta standing?
Chair recognizes Chairman Rice for an announcement. Chairman Rice. Just a minute, Mr. Chairman. You may want to hear these announcements. If you don't, you can step outside. Otherwise, the chair's going to ask that you be in your seats and cease conversation so we can get through these announcements. Chairman Rice, proceed.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Speaker. Tomorrow morning at 7:15, down in room 107, the Legislative Fellowship will meet once again. You guys are all getting an opportunity to go to appropriations who aren't appropriations right after that, so you're getting up early anyway. So come on down in 107, members only. Join us for this Legislative Fellowship devotional time. I think you'll find it very profitable. Have a good day.
Chair recognizes Chairman Pruitt for an announcement. Chairman Pruitt.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This afternoon at 2 o'clock, we have a meeting of the House Planning and Community Affairs Committee and room 515 at the CLOB. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Neal for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, it was my privilege today to bring you kettle corn from Chickamauga. And I hope you enjoy that. We did that last year and got a lot of good response from the members. That was provided by our own oatmeal kettle corn. They started making kettle corn in 2002, incorporated in 2009, and their business has just blossomed, and we're thrilled to be able to share that with you today. If you ever have any need for their product, reach out to them, and you'll be very satisfied with the service that you get. Thank you all.
Chair recognizes the Chairman of the Appropriations Committee, Chairman England, for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the House, just want to let you know a little bit of our schedule for tomorrow. Subcommittees are meeting this afternoon, voting out their subcommittee budgets. Higher Ed has already met earlier this morning, but the rest will be meeting this afternoon. Full committee meeting will be tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., right after the caucus meeting at 8 and just before rules at 10. So don't get concerned. The Majority Leader will inform you of another time here in just a few minutes. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Rogers for an announcement. Chairman Rogers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Higher Ed Education Committee will meet at 3 o'clock in room 406 CLOB. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Tankersley, Chairman Parrish, and Chairman Burns for a joint announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I want to invite you to join us tonight at the Depot for the 26th Annual Wild Game Supper, featuring some of the finest cuisine you'll find anywhere: South Georgia quail, dove, venison, and wild hog.
The Wild Game Supper is a tradition that exemplifies community partnerships, good food, and great fellowship. And it's hosted by Georgia Southern University, Ogeechee Technical College, the City of Statesboro, Bullock County Board of Commissioners, the Statesboro Chamber, and the Development Authority of Bullock County.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As we celebrate with Bullock County and Statesboro, we sure want to recognize one of the best universities in the state and a university that serves all of our counties in the state. If you'll look on your desk, I hope you've taken an opportunity to look at a handout that shows the number of alumni and active students that may be from your counties that attend or have attended Georgia Southern University. And we certainly appreciate their activity at Georgia Southern. And we know that Georgia Southern is a university that serves all of Georgia, not just Southeast Georgia. It's very important to all Georgians, and we certainly appreciate the leadership there that comes from our great president, Dr. Brooks Keel, and the First Lady, Tammy Shalhoub, who will be in attendance with us tonight. We're also very blessed in Southeast Georgia and Bullock County to be the home of Geechee Technical College. President Don Carty will be present tonight also. We'd sure like for you to come by and make their acquaintance and see what kind of fine administrators they are and good people. And we ask you to be there. We'll start at about 5 and go to 7:30, and certainly it'll be a great event and something I always look forward to every other year. So come by and join us. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Sheldon for an announcement. Chairman Sheldon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There will be a Majority Caucus meeting in the morning at 8 a.m. in the 606 CLOB.
Chair recognizes Chairman Morris for an announcement. Chairman Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There will be a meeting of the House Banks and Banking Committee at 2 p.m. In room 406 in the Coverdale Legislative Office Building. We will have our organizational meeting, vote on our rules, and we will have an update from Dr. Keel and some of his associates from Georgia Southern University on the eminent banking chair that we saw fit to fund last year at Georgia Southern University, and the implementation of that banking chair at Georgia Southern. That's at 2 p.m., 406 CLOB.
Chair recognizes Representative Shaw for an announcement. Representative Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There will be an insurance subcommittee meeting for the admin and licensing subcommittee today at 2 o'clock in 606 LOB. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That completes the announcements. I'm sorry. Are you a chairman? Chair recognizes the chair of the Ways and Means Committee, Chairman Chanel, for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Ways and Means Committee will meet today at 3 o'clock in 606 CLOB.
Now that completes the announcements. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move this House now adjourn until 11 a.m. I repeat, 11 a.m. Wednesday morning, February the 6th, 2013.
The Majority Leader has moved that this House adjourn until 11 o'clock a.m. tomorrow. All those in favor of the motion will say aye. All those opposed will say no. The ayes in the judgment of the chair clearly have it. This House will be adjourned until 11 a.m. tomorrow.